like Biggie said in one of his songs, hey, you guys should grab some weed. I have a story to tell, you know? Maybe not weed this time, I can grab popcorns and stuff, right? So I flew in day before yesterday for the finals. To get the ticket in itself was a hustle. Myself and a friend, we spent the better part of yesterday morning at the CAF Hotel, Sofitel in Abidjan, hustling for tickets more or less. It was going for as high as $2,000.
That's crazy.
And I mean, it was pandemonium. The lobby at Sofitel in Abidjan looked like a marketplace. I saw quite a number of people. Saw JJ, Daniel Amakachi, Jibril Cisse, Amaju Pinnick, former Arsenal chairman David Dean. He was there. So ultimately, we eventually got tickets, complimentary tickets. So we set out to go to the stadium around 3:00 or thereabout, after the Arsenal game yesterday. The trip to the stadium was a nightmare. The express road that led straight to the stadium, because the stadium's is in the outskirts of Abidjan. The express road was blocked, was only allowed for dignitaries, right? So we had to go through the old route, very, very windy. And we ended up in a situation that, an hour to kick off, we still hadn't packed our car, right? Wow. So I completely missed the closing ceremonies and stuff, And so we eventually got to the stadium. And much to my surprise, I got to the turnstile and it was unmanned. There was nobody there. We didn't scan any tickets. Nothing. Wow. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So my friend tapped me and was like, we were supposed to scan our tickets there. I'm like, nah, it's not possible. There should be somewhere ahead that will scan tickets. And surprisingly, we got to the stadium and it was jam-packed with Ivorians. Anybody that could get to the stadium ended up in the stadium, irrespective of whether you had a ticket or not. The tickets I got were for 4 seats, side by side. We got there were Ivorians on my seat. There were Ivorians on our seat, and we told them, sorry, this is my ticket, where's yours? Let's see who owns the seat. And surprisingly, the Ivorians around us stood up and said, there's nothing you guys can do. You're not going to move this young lady, because the lady, the person in my seat was a young lady. And I'm like, I flew all the way from Lagos to watch this final. What do you mean? I need to watch the game. People were sat on the pathways, on the staircase in the stadium. The whole section that I was supposed to be for Nigerians. The whole section ultimately was filled with, the whole stadium was like a sea of orange. Just see pockets, dots of green here and there. So in terms of security, if I had a gun on me, I could have gotten a gun into that stadium easily. That's crazy. I was not checked. Nobody checked me. There was nobody at the turnstiles. Nobody. Wow. For a CAF final, that is disastrous. That is unacceptable. I ended up, we were separated, right? So the 4 of us that went together, we, but it's still the same section, but we just had open seats. These Ivorians just sat down and kept the seats for their friends. That's what happened. Or anybody that needed it. It was until we were able to prove that it was our ticket, and the guy now said, you flew all the way from Nigeria, sit down next to me. So when even Nigeria scored, I couldn't celebrate. I'm sure you see some of the clips that we'll share later on. I couldn't celebrate. I was about to shout goal and I kept quiet, because I didn't want to be lynched. So for a final, it was disappointing. And my expectation, I think looking back at it now, I think I'll probably say it was probably a good thing for me personally that Nigeria didn't win, because if we had, my security right there and then was not, I wasn't too safe. Immediately the game finished, we took off instantly. I didn't even wait to see anything. Final whistle, we took off immediately. Wow! Immediately, right? So from an organizational standpoint, for a CAF final, that was disastrous. That was unacceptable, and I expect the Nigerian, contingent, the Nigerian Football Association to lodge a complaint, and I expect CIV to be sanctioned, because that wasn't. People that paid $2,000 for their tickets, some of them ended up outside. They couldn't come in.
That's crazy.
They couldn't come in. They couldn't come in for the match.
You know what's
It's not
disappointing is some of the earlier group stage matches.
Mm-hmm.
The stadiums were not full at all.
At
you
all.
know what I mean? Like some of them were like a third, occupied. For some even less.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I'm just thinking like, you could have had really cheap seats to get people into the stadiums. It's just I just feel like you can be a little more innovative with some of these things.
Absolutely.
Well, the final, that's where you're supposed to show your best, right? That's where you're supposed to have your best security, best organization, all of that.
It was the worst.
That's disappointing.
And it took away from the quality of the game in itself. I thought Cote d'Ivoire were way better than Nigeria. I'm happy for Hala, frankly, for someone that survived testicular cancer. To come and he got the winner for them in the semifinals, and they got the winner in the final. Kudos to him. I'm happy for him. I think Cote d'Ivoire deserved to win because Nigeria just simply didn't show up for the final. And you and I, we've said this all through the tournament. We didn't have a midfield. Even during the game, the Ivorians were happy to let Ekong, Bassi, and Ajayi to hold the ball, do whatever you want to do with it. They weren't even pressing us because they knew that the next thing we'll do is hoof the ball to Osimhen, right? And once they collected the ball, they had a 3-man midfield of Seri. Seri is a veteran.
Fofana and Casey.
Yeah, Fofana and Casey. Those are 3 people against an Onyeka who is not a ball. His ball retention is not the highest. He's a hustler. And an Iwobi who has ball retention but is not that much of a hustler, right? So it was death on arrival, more or less. That was a tactical suicide by our coach, right? And for me, the blame, 100% of the blame of what happened yesterday is on the coach. I see a lot of people have been, raining abuse on Alex Iwobi. He had to delete an Instagram account. I want to apologize on behalf of everybody to him. It's not his fault. He that was a square peg in a round hole. You can't play that kind of formation and have an Iwobi as part of a 2-man midfield playing Ivorians, that had crazy ball retention, So tactically, I think our coach got it wrong. But for him, apparently, that formation got him to the finals. So we were in that game saying, let's avoid the loss and let's try and nick it, And when we scored, I had that thought to myself. I was like, this might not be good because this will then kind of align with his plan, and we will, kind of recede into our shell a lot more, and the attack will just keep on coming. We just had wave after wave after wave of attack, and the goals were just a matter of time. It was going to come.
Yeah.